People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Now I'm just going to jump straight into it. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal 0, Spurs 2, Arsenal 0. First and foremost, banter aside, you got to be gracious in defeat. You know, for Spurs, they've been better than us for a number of years. They've been better than us in the North London derbies. You know, that's a team that, obviously I don't want to say this, but right now you can't say they're not going places. They're challenging for the league. Obviously we're only in December, but they look strong on all trophy fronts. I know they're messing up in the Europa League, but based on how they're playing domestically, you think it's going to get to the final. You know, Jose Mourinho, he had a decent summer. All the boys in Spurs are buying into what he's doing. You know, I saw that. That's one thing I'm jealous about. Any team we play now, whether it's Spurs now, whether it's Villa, whether it's Leeds, whether it's Leicester, you know, whether it's Wolves, I'm seeing a blueprint. I'm seeing a football team. 11 players, subs as well, but 11 players and a manager all moving to the collective goal. I'm seeing the manager try his ideas, and I can criticise Arteta, I can praise him. You know, today didn't cover himself with too much glory, and we'll get on to all of these things. The players as well, I can't absolve them because just doing mad stuff. If you can't be up for a North London derby, you're not on it. The only difference I'd say with this North London derby is that Spurs, I thought they'd be a bit more aggressive. I thought they'd have a bit more chances, but at the end of the day, they took their chances. They scored goals. Do I really need to be sitting here and giving my thoughts? We knew going into the game, the danger men. We knew Spurs have been scoring goals. We've got two more clean sheets now than us, but prior, one more clean sheet. They've been scoring goals. They've been in decent form. You know, they're riding high. You know, you want to win titles, you got to prove it. They're coming into this game off the back of a fantastic 4 points between the Chelsea game and obviously the City one. You know, yeah, when you've watched them in big games, they've rid their luck at times. They've been very defensive. We know what they're to expect. You know, well, engine drilled unit defensively by Jose Mourinho, specialists at being narrow. You know, once they take the lead, it's peak. You know, you've got Kane and Son, who are bad boy footballers, good footballers anyways, in some real super form. You know, is it any coincidence Kane found obviously Son for the goal? That goal was Kalam for all purposes. I felt players could have got, maybe potentially even Gabriel and Partey, from my memory, I could be wrong. Someone could have got tighter to Kane, but you could see it. Bellerin is caught out of position. I think Bellerin's actually been told by Arteta to get forward, but he's not playing like a fullback. He's playing like a wing back. The damage is done. Son is running. I think Holding could have done better, but really I couldn't ask him for more. You can't bring him down. He ain't too much. We're backing off. We're backing off. He's left-footed playing on the right wing. I mean, he's right-footed playing on the left wing. You know he's going to cut in and shoot. Leno's body positioning isn't the best. Not blaming Leno, but he scored. It's a terrific goal, and you know, I won't say Arsenal were bullying things and dominating and that, but prior to that point, that was probably the first 10-11 minutes was only the time we looked alright. You know, I was seeing, you know, Partey for the goal was a bit Kalam as well. You know, and that's where I think showed Arteta's inexperience. Partey is clearly saying, come off, you're pushing him on. You know, he should have went down, and apparently at the time of making this, I haven't heard the post game, Arteta spoken about it, but he should have went down. At least you could say, ref, what, go on, look at this. You've made him run back, he's getting injured now. And again, I don't know, I hope better yet that Partey's not out significantly, people, but what has that done? Because obviously it hurts to lose the North London derby, and it was to be expected based on the way we're playing. It's a different game, same old stories. But at the same time now, because we messed around with Partey now, how much is he out now? How much does that cost us in the long run? I didn't understand a lot from Arteta. I felt, and then they got 60 minutes, I thought, and I said it then on Thursday, he's getting 60 minutes so he can keep ticking over, because he's obviously gonna play against Spurs. You know, he's been quarantining. Get a little 60 minutes, get a little cobwebs out, playing. We need that energy. You saw how weak we were on the transition. You saw what Højbjerg was doing. You know the midfield is crucial. And again, Arteta, you was a midfielder. I know he has to work with what he's got, but you was a midfielder. Two different types of midfield. I can't understand it. You know, you've not played on any. I was crying for Partey to start, so I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. I probably am. But same way, we're fans. You know, you're working with Partey. You know, you said Partey was going to be out for 6 weeks initially, and it was touch and go going into this game. We know Partey's going to be naive. He's played against Atletico. I mean, he's played against Real Madrid for Atletico in Madrid derbies. He's played high pressure Champions League games. So obviously he wants to hear North London derby, I want to be there. And he probably needs saving from himself. You know, Partey didn't want to come off, but we know his fitness levels. We're told by the medics and things. And that one's there. Obviously, listen, if Partey never got injured, we don't talk about it. And I understand it, but it screams desperation, and it's a risk. If it paid off, it looked good. It didn't. You look like an idiot, you know, in the nicest possible way. That screamed risk. And that showed to me gambling the dice, because he knows without Partey, this thing is calam. Like, it's even more calam. And that's why I said, if you're trying to have a squad, you can't rely on certain... Unless they're Lionel Messi, you can't rely on things. Obviously, Aubameyang's not scoring, but you've got Aubameyang, you know. Have wingers that are going to score goals. Midfielders, you need man that can do what Partey brings to the table, because when he's not there, it's collapse. So I didn't understand the middle. You know, it's no coincidence. We're very open on the transition. Xhaka is in no man's land. I'm not going to scapegoat him, but, you know, at this point, I'm not even getting at the players. They're not picking themselves. And I have to get to the point now, some of these players, they're playing because I have to consider the possibility that Arteta deems that they're giving him a good performance. Because I think William was poor and William's been poor. But because he's playing week in, week out, I have to suggest Arteta saying, yo, you either don't believe in other man, or, you know, you lot are doing what I'm asking you to do. So that means I have to look at Arteta. I'm not looking at Bellerin now. I'm not looking, as much as listen, Arteta can't account for these stupid mistakes these players are doing time and time again. But same way, these players, I don't know why they're not playing. You know, Maitland-Niles never played right back. Maitland-Niles isn't perfect, but I don't understand this. Cedric brother, we just signed him. Why aren't you giving him an opportunity? William is keep dropping clangers. Nelson's not in the squad. He could be injured. I don't know why he's not. So he's got it wrong in midfield. You know, we're making it... The Bellerin, we knew that left-hand channel. And this is why I don't like when I see propaganda about... Man, you know, there's what they say, there's team talks and everyone's having it out and stuff. You're not, because you're talking about, you're showing fight in every other department, but where it matters, the football field, you know. Yeah, we could say second half, we had a bit more opportunities. It was a bit like the Wolves second half. Spurs rid their luck, not rid their luck, but they just thought, F it, we'll sit in, they're going to get frustrated, we'll probably get a goal. And on the topic of that, people, you know, I bet you Jose said, listen, do what I'm telling you to do, because there was elements of what they did in a couple of other big games, but they said, listen, do what I've told you to do this week, do what you've previously told, don't force it, because that's why they weren't aggressive, and Arsenal will make mistakes, which we did. They capitalised on two silly mistakes. You know, we can say Spurs didn't create, we had the opportunities and stuff. They got what mattered was the 3 points, and it's just like the Brendan Rodgers game. He did the exact same thing. You know, you can, possession's 9/10 of the law, but it's what you do with it. We're just holding it, sideways passes. You're going against a manager who is tactically one of the, if not the best in the league at this tactics thing, holding, you know what Jose's about. We're not going to break them down. We're crossing the ball. They're better in the air and bigger than us. We're not learning. I'm even seeing Hector Bellerin from a defensive corner at a point in the game. Man marking Toby Alderweireld. What the hell is going on? Didn't we learn from last week's season where we had Tierney marking this very same man? It don't make sense, people. It doesn't. It doesn't, and we're choosing to do this. The players are cheating themselves. They're showing fight in every department but the football field. You know, I'm more blaming the players, but... Tactically, Arteta's been here a year or so now, you know, touching 11, 12 months. Need to see a bit more. I know he needs his own team and these things, but he's made his bed, he's going to have to line it. He knew the position he was taking. He chose to start Xhaka. He chose to start Partey. You know, Lacazette, I think Lacazette, he didn't score, but he... Listen, we all know, with the exception of Lacazette, it's the same old 3-4 players whether we're winning, losing or drawing. We're bigging up Gabriel, we're bigging up Tierney. Saka weren't amazing today, but at least man are talking about him. He's showing up. You know, Lacazette, I think, put in a shift today. Aubameyang, nothing, you know. No creativity and discount, but again, North London derby, you've got to be a talisman. And a lot of things I saw from Aubameyang today never screamed confident, you know. There was one incident, he got the ball on the right, was in the box, and he just, the confident Aubameyang, I've seen him do it, he just shifts it right hand into the top corner. He weren't doing it today in the little chances he had. You know, I think Lacazette put in a shift, but... Putting in the shift is the basics, really. Players are cheating yourselves, and 3 players can't be on this thing. Everybody needs to, and we can't say it wasn't coming going into this game. You know, I would have thought there would have been a reaction going into the international break, wanting to win that game. Didn't do it against Villa. Didn't restart the international break against Leeds like a team that wants to get it together. Didn't play against Wolves like you wanted to get it together. Didn't play today like you wanted to get it together. Because this is why we're not going to advance anywhere. You do much talking, people. Too much talking. There's a lot of points to play for. I'm not saying we're going to get top 4 in any of this, because we can't. But when you remove your emotions, Arsenal sit 15th. There's 20 odd games to play. This is why I don't believe in this team, because there's no consistency, you know. I don't even know if you're going to beat Burnley next week. And for Arteta, again, I've said I'm concerned about this now. Again, as much as I can back a manager, because I personally, I'm not Arteta in or out. Are you doing this thing for Arsenal? I don't really care, quite frankly. I feel the players need to take some blame, Arteta, and for this mess, the people at the top, because we started the season poorly and reactive with what we did in the market, and we find ourselves here. But for Arteta, you know, lost the tactical battle during the game against Rodgers. You know, stood no chance against Nuno. Jose's done this. Bielsa, fair enough, he got a point against Bielsa still. But I didn't see that. And it's concerning. The crossing business. He's adamant on crossing the ball, but why? Who are we crossing the ball to? There's no one darting to the near post. There's no one, you ain't got a Giroud and them guys there that will head it. Yeah, Gabriel scored from a set piece and we'll get the occasional header, but we was atrocious. They capitalised on 2 mistakes. And that's what a football team, you know, you sit, you wait for your opposition to slip up, and they did. They knew it would happen. We all knew a goal was coming from that left-hand side, people. The second, in terms of Bellerin, the second goal is 4v2. Like, come on. As much as I'm getting at Arteta and think he needs to be questioned on this game, can't account for these players. He's got to take responsibility, man. It's poor. You know, Willian, you can make yourself a hero. Chelsea fans warned us about Willian, told us, you know, one good thing, he loves to score against Spurs. Once you join Arsenal, you lose all of that sauce. And for me, I'm getting concerned now because Gabriel and Partey, even a half-injured Partey was better than Bear, man. Gabriel did what he needed to do, but how often are they going to keep putting in performances like this? Because as you know, it happened with Alexis. When we're poor, some man still excel, but after a while, like, this thing infects you. Like, you become part of the madness. It takes over your thing. And that's the concern. You know, you need to bounce back. We're feeling sorry for ourselves. You're cheating yourselves. There's too much talking everywhere, everywhere all over, apart from where it matters, the football field. You lost this game before half-time. You're 2-0 down. And the goals you can see, they hit you on the break. You know Spurs are one of the most devastating teams on the counter-attack this season. There are 3 flowing goals this season collectively. 2 of their players, when you were to say probably early player of the season, shout, Son and Kane are there. You know, get goals and assists. They're both, we'll bite off our hands for one of those players. We won't even talk about, with all due respect to Kane. You know, we love, and I think Son's a bad boy baller. We'll kill for Son. They're having good games and they're scoring goals. Players are scoring goals. You know they can devastate on the counter. You know they're high energy in midfield. You know they'll make them fouls and break down the team. You knew this before, like 3-4 weeks ago, before the North London derby was even talked about. So how are you doing this? Are you cheating yourselves? I'm not one to talk about money and other people's interests. They can do what they want. But football doesn't appear that essential to certain fullbacks. It doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You're not playing well. You're not developing. Players are giving foul throws. Time and time again, game after game. This tells me you're making this choice. Not that you're trying to mess up, but you're not learning. You don't want it enough. You can talk. You don't want it enough. And for me, if you're a professional footballer, have every interest you want. But I want to see it mean something to you. Don't mean enough. I don't think you lot are, last week you're thinking, yo, we need to win this game because we got Spurs and all of these sort of things. Then I don't think they watched the game last week where Spurs play. I don't think I don't think they spent this week looking at Spurs games and, yo, I can try exploit this. We need to watch out for that. You man don't die. You're not dedicated to your craft. The thing about football, you can't cheat. You can cheat people sometimes. You can and put up a couple false images. But what you cannot do is cheat people all of the time. They see things for what they are. Eventually, they see things, and that's what we've seen. People, players are hiding. You can do what you think because you have one good training session. It's good. Because I'm now questioning: are you lot putting it in on the training field? And I heard Arteta was big on training. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it because you can't cheat. There's no hiding place on that football field. You see the results. You bear the fruits of your labour, or you harvest no crops because you ain't been doing nothing. And that's it. You know, too many players are hot and cold. Too many people are hiding. Too many people don't know what's going on. Mentally, this game there is a microcosm of our season. The football is 90% mental, 10% this tactic BS, people. You got to believe you can win. You've got to deal with setbacks, you know. Going down the goal must have been something these players sat and said. Because realistically, even if we did win, you know, keeping a clean sheet against these man, you know. So yeah, in the second half, you know, you got to see Lloris dirty up his kit a bit, but he weren't tested. No one licked off a shot at Lloris. You know, couple little things here and there. Toby made a big tackle on Aubameyang, but I'm not sitting there and saying, yo, this happened and that happened. It was dead. It was dead. And I'm seeing Gabriel nutmeg man and take it forward more than I'm seeing wingers, you know. Teams have clocked us. We're slow, we're stagnant, we leave gaps if we do go forward. You know, we're very one-hand centric, and I'm starting to consider now, because football is more mental and more psychological, and we know about relationships. How many of you lot have played football? You don't necessarily believe in all your teammates. Do Arsenal players, and I'm just saying all my thoughts now, as we got to the point where we're seeing it like the players now are saying, yo, there's no point passing to Bellerin and Willian, it's dead. Like, it's dead. The right hand side is dead. Nothing's going on. I don't understand it. I don't see it. Because some players, for me, I don't care who plays. I might not be the biggest fan of William. But if you're doing your thing, it's what it is. Like, I'm not El Nene's hero. I'm not part of El Nene's fan club. But you hear me say El Nene, because I've seen him do this thing this season. Moving serious. I'm seeing too much favourites. And you know, you live or die by the players. But Arteta, these players are going to cost you your job, Arteta. Because you're doing the same thing your former manager Wenger's doing. When you got man that ride for you, when you got Saka, when you got Tierney, you got Gabriel, you can put your neck on the line for them, man. But you're gassing up these players, taking all the blame, and they're putting in these certain men are putting in the same performances week in, week out. What is that telling the other squad? I don't think they're telling them, man. They believe in, man. You know, there's no hiding place. We see the extra hours you put in on the football field, because we're still talking about the same problems that we have been for years and have been for the last 18 months. And I think the things Arteta can control, the very few things, I don't think he's excelling in them. You know, but the board have to take a long, hard look at themselves. Because we're not here by design. We're here by purpose. We didn't do what we needed to do in the transfer market. There's been no development. FA Cup and Community Shield, as we know, false contingency, false images, you know. This is the same. I'm sitting here doing the same video I did last week and the week before that. This is going to keep happening. What you need to do is stop feeling sorry for yourselves and taking accountability, you know. There's too much hiding. I'm seeing the tweets. I'm seeing the training videos on the YouTube channel. I'm not seeing it on the field. I'm hearing bare talk about fighting your teammates, but you're not fighting the other team in a healthy way. Kane and them man are fighting. Look how much fouls Kane won and took. Højbjerg the same. You know? What are we doing? If Lemina was there, would have been doing that as well for them. Who was doing that? Who was trying to take the game by the balls and say, alright, cool, let me try a little shot. Let me try gas the team. Let me do something. I see a couple, but that's not good enough. There's 25 man in the squad. I'm not even here for all of this. If we had this, if this player played. Listen, 38 games, you're not going to have every player available. There can't be things. I don't understand how I would have went Hayland. If they played poor, they would have played poor. They'll be sitting in different circumstances. But I would have went with Hayland. I would have personally played Hayland because they've got a point to prove. They've got a point to prove. Players ain't got points to prove. I'm questioning hunger now. Bellerin's had a free run at that right wing spot, right back spot, apologies, since he turned 18. Yeah, there's 3 people competing for one spot. But who's dislodging him? Realistically, people, real talk, who's dislodging him? Thank you. You know, nobody. Willian, you know, been there, done that with Chelsea. Coming to here now. You've got, you know, you're not coming to Arsenal because you want to do this project thing, because you want to be an experienced player with this new era. You got the comfy restaurant. You know, your family wanted to stay in London. You probably did. You know, you could have got a nice little payday in the MLS, but there's a reason. Maybe there's scrutiny there. There's not what you're going to Dubai and nothing's happening to you, and you know other players are punished for being late, but you can't punish a man for taking unauthorized things. To what us fans know, there's too many favourites, and like I said, I'm at the point now. I'm not looking at. It's got point past me looking at these players. I look at their poor performances, of course, but them certain men are selecting them, and for me, you've given too many chances, Arteta. Now you've stand behind man already. You've stood by them and said, I'm still gonna play you. They let you down in North London derby. You know, we should be sitting if we lost to say, boy, Son danced past 10 man, Kane banged it from 30 yards. They're quality players, you know. But and again, I like I've been saying, against Leicester, against Villa, against Wolves, against Leeds, against Spurs. Listen, be gracious in defeat. I don't want to take nothing away from their performances because they can't account for us. They were all superb. But as an Arsenal fan, like I said, if they play better than us and they do their thing, I can't ask for nothing more. But too often than not, as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking back and I'm giving credit to the team like I am now. And with one hand, like I said, if they're over there, I'm thinking of them. I'm looking at my team. I'm like, yo, you should have done this. You could have done that. You could have done the other. It's appalling, people, and we're cheating ourselves, and it's going to continue to happen, and it's not going to change, people. On that note, I'm going to get out of it. I'm not even going to do the player ratings today, people. I need to watch the game again. Now, I need to watch the game again. I'm pretty sure who it is, but I'm watching the game again, people. On that note, please allow me to get out of here. DG.